Guys, welcome back. So in this video, what I thought I would do is I just want to start regularly trying to upload any kind of content up on the YouTube so it doesn't go completely dead. So I'm going to take some bits and pieces of a piece of song that I'll show you guys the recording of like what I actually recorded when I initially first started writing this song. I got the recordings, the drum tracks and everything. I'll put that near the end of the video. But as of tonight, as I'm making this video right now, I just finished up coming up with some new riffs to add to this song that I've been putting together. So I figured I'd show you guys what I came up with initially, these first sets of riffs, show you guys part of this video, and then show you what I came up with as far as like the drum tracks and like where pauses are and things of that nature. So this song is going to be on my usual go-to BC Rich Beast, the one that I have in C sharp standard. It's I'd say very suffocation-like, so I'll probably throw this together. Like this will be a song with Eric and I for the either the EP or whatever we do afterwards. Because I don't know if I shared in the last video, the last upload with you guys, but all the guitar tracks minus the solos. There's a guitar solo or two that I want to put on a couple of these songs that I recorded. Just got to put those together. Derek still wants to play bass on everything. I got to get a hold of him once I'm able to get around and see when we're gonna start actually like getting serious about tracking all this, so we can get this music out to you guys. Because like I'm like dying to get this out to you guys. You know, not only for you but like just myself. I just want to hear an actual production that I finally created after talking about this shit for like 20 something years. Finally get it done. So yeah, I'm just waiting the right time for all of us to get that together and get this music out. So yeah, like I say, all the rhythm tracks have been tracked, and it's just a matter of just adding the solos, and then I got to get to it as far as writing lyrics and concepts, that kind of thing for these. I got a couple song titles on them, but I haven't titled every song yet. But that's going to be the next thing, and then just have Eric do the drum tracks for them, so we got some real drums on there instead of using. I know I did see, that's another thing I want to add to this video is a couple of you guys asked me what what drum software I use, things of that nature. I've been using Easy Drummer 2 for quite a while, and I haven't deviated from that yet. It's just as far as the kind of desktop I have, the situation I have, that's the easiest for me to put my drum tracks together. Usually what I do is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a program called Tablet, and you guys that are like old as shit like me, I started making guitar tabs and basically drum tracks. I learned that from Brian back in the day when I was still a part of Gut Rot for like a year and a half back in '04, '05. He taught me how to use Tablet. Tablet's like very similar to like Power Tab when Power Tab was still around. Maybe even, what's the other one? I'm trying to remember what the other one is. Guitar Pro, maybe. I don't think it's quite like Guitar Pro, but it's like mostly like Power Tab. It's very similar. So it's just a matter of you have your tablature set up and you create your guitar tracks, but you can also create MIDI drums as well. So what I do is I just take that MIDI file and I drag and drop it in the Easy Drummer 2. Unfortunately, what I got to do when I make my my drum tracks, I have to, any place where there's a tempo change, I have to remember exactly where that is, basically cut that piece, change the tempo, and then put it in my DAW, and just try to line everything up as close as I can for as far as everything being on time when I go to record things like that. So when I record, I don't do any quantizing. The only thing I know how to do as far as tracking is basically hit that record, and then if I got to move my stems a little bit to be a little bit closer in time with like snare hits, kick drums, things like that, I just go ahead and I try to move them accordingly. But as far as like the real technical aspect of doing the editing where you start making stuff sound robotic and like mechanical, I'm not in any of that. Unfortunately, I don't know how to take it to that level. I still use Audacity, as crazy as that might sound. That's what I use. So like Reaper and Ableton and what's some of the other ones? Cubase. I never dove into any of those, but I did dive into Reaper a little bit. I do use Reaper just a little bit just to get my guitar tones for when I use my VSTs as far as the plugins that I'm using. So I'll take that track. It's kind of like an elaborate pain in the ass. It doesn't need to be, but I'm pretty stupid when it comes to this shit when I make my stuff. So basically what I do is after I dry track everything in Audacity, I load Reaper, I take that dry signal, that WAV file, and then I drag it into Reaper, and I'll run it through my VST, and then I'll dial in the tone that I'm looking for. Once I find what I'm looking for, grab that file, bring it into Audacity, and then I level everything out. I know it sounds like a pain in the ass, and I don't have to do it like that, but that's how I understand it. That's how it's easiest for me to do my recordings. So what you hear is basically, even when there's string noise, I've actually recently, I've been looking into, like, there's ways to eliminate string noise when you're shifting chords and things like that. But I like leaving all of that organic and natural sound in there. I don't like pulling all that shit out of there where it just sounds like a robot recorded the music. I'm not about that. So if there's little inconsistencies and shit isn't exactly on time, I'm all for that, because like I've tried both ways. I've tried to like get really, really carried away and do things to where it's like where everything is exactly on time with every single hit, and it doesn't have the same feel to it. It loses a lot of its intensity, and I think metal should not turn into basically a pop record or pop music where everything's just so on time and just so inhumanly perfect. I don't get into that kind of shit. I like things to be as pure and as, I guess, quote unquote, raw as possible, just so it just sounds like a human actually recorded the music. So that's what I do with like all these recordings that I show you guys, and then future recordings from here on out. That's how I always want it to be. But enough of my rambling. I know I do that a lot every time I make a video, but so without further ado, here's the riffs that I came up with for this song, and then I'll show you guys, like I said, at the end, what I tracked like earlier in the week as far as the first set of riffs that I came up with as I was creating a drum track. So thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate you so much as always. Love ya. Shit! Shit! I hate that red button so much, I really do.